but just for a while, then put it off. Be my comfort. Yeah, good morning. Holy Spirit, take control. As I'm walking along the way, the Lord is so near. Holy Spirit. Good morning. You're welcome to another edition of Study Time with the Word. My name is Hilda, and we've been looking at the topic diligence. Okay, diligence. Yesterday we talked about why certain persons put in so much effort and yield little result or no result at all. And then we talked about our points to note, where we said that diligence implores us to build self-discipline, and it takes you out of being lazy, not for the lazy. Then number two, we talked about, we said it is doing what you have to and not what you want to. Okay. Number three, we said it sees to the completion of a task, and then there's a refusal to give up. You need to build endurance, to build perseverance, focus, patience, discipline, which allows us to maintain commitment to goals and overcome obstacles. So today we're going to be looking at the completion of our yesterday's teaching. We stopped on number 3 yesterday on our points, and so today we're going to be talking about number 4. With diligence, you build mastery and skills. When you repeatedly do something again and again, and you're consistent in it, you build mastery. You also become more skillful. We see when we look at Belazel, which we're going to be looking at today, the gifts and the giftings of God as regards his skill. We're going to be looking at how he better used it for God and his will. And like I said yesterday, don't be consistent in something that God is not involved in. I think that's a better way to put it. Don't be consistent in doing something that God is not involved in. That's a whole lot of labor with no result. That's a whole lot of labor with little result. Don't be consistent, okay? It's something that God is not involved in. Then number 4, when diligence is not applied, we can experience losses and fall short of God's standard. It prevents us from achieving God's purposes for our life. There is nothing that God has called you to do that you don't need diligence for. There is nothing He has called you to do. Whether He has called you in the business, or whether He has called you to the pulpit, whether He has called as an evangelist, whether He has called you in the business sector or in the corporate sector or in politics or in economics, you need diligence. We see the life of Daniel. Daniel, who reigned, who was an administrator in 4 different kingly administrations, and we see diligence and consistency in his walk with God. And every of those administrations came with their own ups and downs. Look at King Nebuchadnezzar. Look at King Darius. You know, King Darius being the worst of it all as regards his people, the other 2 persons in charge of the other provinces, planning against Daniel and setting him up by saying, don't pray to any god. We see that. So Daniel was diligent. Daniel was consistent in his walk with God. So there is no area of your life that so long as you are here, that you don't need diligence for. Even in the fact that God has said something over you, does not mean that you don't need to play your part. So when diligence is not applied, we experience losses. There are certain things that we may have lost because probably we didn't pay attention to details, or we didn't apply diligence, or we're not consistent, you know. All of a sudden we got wearied, got tired, and stopped halfway. And I will always say that failure is success not completed. Like, you're doing something along the way and you were succeeding, all of a sudden you just stop. You know. Number 6, there is grace to be diligent, as seen with Belazel. Let's look at Exodus chapter 31. There is grace to be diligent, as seen with Belazel. Exodus 31, verses 2 to 5. Look, that's the Lord speaking. I have specifically chosen Belazel, son of Uri, grandson of Hur, of the tribe of Judah. It's amazing how God identifies us and identifies our great-grandfather and grandfather. Amazing, right? He tells us that He knows even our great-great-great-great-great-father, that we don't know. He knows everything. And He says, I have filled him with the Spirit of God, giving him great wisdom ability, and expertise in all kinds of crafts. Verse 4, it says, he is a master craftsman, expert in working with gold, silver, and bronze. He is skilled in engraving and mounting gemstones, and in carving wood. He is a master at every craft. See God describing a man. See God describing him. He made him. God made him. You know, when we talked about Proverbs 22 yesterday, see that man diligent in his work, he shall stand before kings, and all of that we quoted yesterday. And we see Belazel, skillful. God was in need of that skill, that which I have given you. All right, now I need to build an ark. Bring Belazel here. And then talked about Oholiab, son of Ahiv Samak, that's in verse 6, of the tribe of Dan, to be his assistant. God chose the craftsman and chose his assistant. And look at what he says in verse 6. Moreover, I have given special skill to all the gifted craftsmen, so they can make all the things I have commanded you to make. What do you have that you have not been given? Then why make boast of it if it's not originally yours? Why? God is saying, I have chosen Belazel, I have chosen Oholiab as his assistant. He needed to build the Ark of the Covenant. Now, a lot of times, God has, in fact, most of the times, with the gifts that God has put in each and every one of us, how many of us are actually using it for him? How many of us are willingly? Some people are doing it, but they are grudgingly doing it. Some people are complaining. They're in place of service in a ministry and they're complaining. That gift, that thing you're complaining about, God put it inside of you. We've heard of ministers or gospel ministers or people who play keyboard and all of that. There's a need for them, and they're saying, no, this one is paying me higher, I'm going. I'm not here to apportion them. I'm only trying to say that every of the skills that you have, whether you modified it, whether you built on it, God is the one that gave the skill. Even the building of it, God is the one that made it possible. He made it happen. Everything is his. So why make a boast of it? Are you with me? So look at Belazel, God describing him as a master craftsman. And guess what? He did what God wanted him to do. So a grace not put to work will not profit you or others around you. Belazel has been graced as a skilled man and a craftsman. Imagine he did, just picture he didn't use it for God. It won't profit him and it won't profit anybody. So a lot of times, a lot of us are beneficiaries of graces that is not yet manifesting in our lives. We have received prophetic words, we have received prophetic blessings, and it's not manifesting because we're not putting it to work. Are you with me? We're not putting it to work. Some of us are asking God for wealth, for money, and that which has given you is what will bring or attract the wealth. But because we lack the wisdom of how to use what has been given to us, we stay praying to God to answer to us in areas he has already answered. I don't know, I believe I communicated that right. Are you with me? So we are praying to him to answer us in areas he has already answered. But probably we don't have the wisdom, we lack the understanding, we lack the direction as to what to do with what has been given to us. When God gives you a gift, he teaches you what to do with it and how to use it. So when you receive from him and just like, that's it, I've arrived. No. Even when God gives you wealth, seek him as to what to do with it. Don't arrive by just receiving. Arrive by completing what he has called you to do. Arrive by finishing, lose it. Are you with me? I've always said that money is like a visitor. He comes to your place and then finds his way to another person. He's loyal to no one. You're not loyal to anybody. Are you with me? Do you understand? You are the determinant factor of whether the money stays with you or not. So don't just arrive by receiving. Arrive by finishing what God has called you to do. Number 6. Okay, we talked about that already. Number 7. Diligence makes us productive. Sorry, our network was really... Like I said, diligence makes us productive, profitable, and accountable. Let's look at Proverbs chapter 21, verses 5a. It says, good planning and hard work leads to prosperity. You know, diligence helps you to live beyond the now. Live beyond. A lot of us are living for the moment. That's not a good way to live. You know, when you don't see beyond yourself, when you don't see beyond now, your walk with God will be limited. Are you with me? So diligence makes you productive, profitable, and accountable. Because when you're diligent, when you're diligent, you have an understanding that I'm accountable to someone. I have to tell what I did with what has been committed to me. Okay. And then it makes you profitable. There's no way you'll be diligent in what God has called you to do and not experience profiting. There's no way. There's no way. You know, then number 8, diligence can help you create wealth, be a blessing to others, and make a positive impact in the society. Diligence can help you create wealth, can cause you to create wealth or attract wealth. Then be a blessing to others and make a positive impact in the society. Proverbs chapter 10, verses 4. It says, lazy people are soon poor. Hard workers get rich. You know, hard workers get rich. Then let's look at, we already read that in Proverbs chapter 22, verses 29. Say that a man diligent in his work. Diligent. Are you diligent in what God has called you to do? Like I said yesterday, don't just be diligent in the wrong things. Don't just be diligent doing the wrong things. Be diligent in what God has called you for. First and foremost, have you discovered what God is calling you to do? Sometimes some of us are expecting to hear God expressly by a loud voice or a thunder lightning from heaven and all of that. It's, you know, most of the times it could infuse in you the desire. And that desire could be drawing you into what God has called you for. And then in doing it, you find fulfillment because it glorifies God. So if all that you're doing does not glorify God, or you're doing it for self, it means that you are yet to find a pure intent and motive, or you are yet to discover in completeness what God wants you to do. Sometimes we may have started with God's instruction. Along the way, we may have missed it. Sometimes we didn't even start with instruction. And what God does not start with you, He's not obligated to finish it. If you started it, you finish it. But if He started it, He will see to the completion of it. Then number 9, it can foster trust and positive relationships. Diligence foster trust. People can trust you, you know. As any person that are into a particular line of business, and they know that they are graced in that area, when you call them for one other business, they rather get someone to do it, or, you know, they've chosen to stay in the confines of that. I'm talking about diligence now, spending time, resources on that. Am I saying they don't do any other thing? No, I'm only saying that there are certain things you have been graced with. Stay on it. The works of your hands will be blessed. Stay on it. And then when people know you for trading in a particular area, every time they are in need of that, you're the first point of call. I tell you, except it's just bad belesha. Are you with me? You're the first point of call. Can somebody need something? I know that's the area you are good in. That's the area. Let's call that person. Are you with me? So it fosters trust and positive relationship, and it can help us achieve success, build trust with others, improve our discipline, and develop resilience. In diligence, we are resilient. Are you with me? Then lastly, when we are diligent, we're able to overcome obstacles. We're able to adapt to changing situations and circumstances and stay focused on our goals. When we are diligent, we're able to overcome obstacles, because the focus is that that thing you're doing, you need to bring it to its completion by the help of God. So when the obstacles come, you just know it is going to work in your favor. You just know it's for a season. You just know that it's there to aid you to move. Are you with me? It helps us also stay focused on our goal. So in all that I've said today, I want us to take this note home. Refuse to be irresponsive and ignorant to the purposes of God for your life. Refuse to be irresponsive. What do I mean? Respond to the will of God. Respond to the love of God. Refuse also to be ignorant. Walk in knowledge. My people perish for lack of knowledge. Walk in the understanding and the knowledge of God's purposes for your life. Refuse to be irresponsive. Don't be nonchalant. Don't be lackadaisical. Whatever it is that you're doing, don't be laid back. There's some persons, that have a business in some certain point, and they're supposed to resume by 8, by 9, by 7:30 they're still in bed, by 8 they're still in bed. And if you ask them, say, because I'm the boss, that's why. Be diligent. If you're even, it doesn't matter if you're the visionary, it doesn't matter if you're the owner of the company. If it's 9 a.m., resume 9. Be there if possible before your staff. Are you with me? Resume 9. Don't be laid back and say, after all, I'm the boss. Nobody will ask me. You're accountable to someone. Hello. And even if you don't have that, if you don't have that spirit of accountability, give it some time. Your business will pack up. Be diligent. Be disciplined. It doesn't matter whether you have somebody above you or not. Ensure that it's your life. It's part of the way that you live. You live like I know that I'm going to account to God for what I did with my time. You live like I know that discipline is a life. Diligence is a life I want to be committed to. Whether in business, whether in my work with God, be diligent. Okay? Be diligent. And in diligence, you build integrity. You build integrity. Are you with me? Thank you so much for joining us today. Tomorrow we're going to be looking at scriptural examples as the blessings of diligence. We're going to be looking at that tomorrow. I've highlighted some of those characters in the scripture I said to us yesterday we're going to be talking about, and it's really going to bless us. Okay, thank you so much for joining us on today's edition of Study Time with the Word. I'll be here again tomorrow by 9 a.m. Please don't forget to join us, and our Soaring Daily is out every morning. Please don't forget to listen to it today. That's your word charge for the day. We also have our love nuggets every morning. My name is Hilda. I'll be here again tomorrow. Thank you, and God bless you.